Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Nikkida.
And it's Sadie Say. You already know what time it is. I have to whisper because little man is definitely keyed on me right now and I do not want to wake him up.
No, we don't want to wake him up. Even though it's 8:30 and chances are we're going to be up all night. But to get this video done, we're sacrificing.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is too, it's weird because if we put him in the bed, like if we put him to sleep and he sleeps by himself, he'll sleep for 10 minutes. But on me or mom, he'll sleep like hours.
Knocked out.
So we're like, yo, we want him to get good sleep, so we'll just keep him right here.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe we'll try to put him down. We don't want to spoil him. But today's video is we're going to kind of just go over our labor and delivery because as much as you guys seen a great extensive is that a word? I think it's extensive. Whatever part of the video, we did just want to go through and just discuss like our perspective, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pretty much like how we seen it.
Exactly.
You guys seen it one way, but obviously there was a lot more behind camera that I didn't film just for the privacy reasons and obviously to like be in the moment as well.
Exactly. And you guys didn't actually get to see baby actually physically coming out. You guys, I'm telling you right now, disclaimer, for the men that are about to be fathers, first time fathers, I'm telling you right now, be smart and don't look. Right? I'm gonna tell you right now, you might think it's a joke, but when you see, well, at least for me, my perspective is, I looked and I shouldn't have looked. Yeah.
Because we'll tell you, we'll get into it later on. I'll get into it later on, but we'll pretty much start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like kind of you can kick in and then I'll like jump in.
Yeah.
As needed.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, if we went back like the day before, you guys seen that we were filming a lot of things trying to induce the pregnancy. Definitely think it worked. Okay, because from the foot massages, the dates, the bouncing, the curb walks, the stair walks. What else did we do? The pineapple juice, the raspberry leaf tea, everything combined.
Wait. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
I feel like definitely did start the process a little bit, which I think I told you guys that our midwife did say by that appointment, I was 1 centimeter dilated. So it did something because I was like literally not dilated at all the first few times we went to the doctor.
I think the second last time that we had went, they had checked and you were only 1 centimeter dilated and they can stretch you to 3 centimeters.
No, so that was before.
My bad. So we're back. So
yeah. So this was before. This was before. We did the induction stuff before they were able to get me to 1 centimeter. I was at no centimeters prior that week.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So then after that day, we went to the midwife the next day. Yeah. And that's when they told me I was 1 centimeter dilated. But we already did all those crazy stuff.
It was crazy because I'm sitting there in the corner of the room, and when they're checking her, they did the stretch and sweep maybe 3 days prior. So when they were checking to see how dilated she was, like, it's just like it's kind of like awkward because like you're sitting there, right, and you're watching your girlfriend, and obviously not to like make it inappropriate or anything like that, but like you're watching somebody like stick their fingers in your girl's vagina, and like the first time she did it, I didn't like feel it was whatever because I know it was important that they needed to check. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, this is a little bit awkward, like to have to like look at because like you were like making up your face.
It's really painful. It was really, really painful. The stretch and sweep and even just getting checked was really painful. And the whole time I was doing that day, I was like, oh my gosh, if this hurts and this is just a little finger, how is it gonna feel?
But you know what though? You did a really good job because I never thought that you were in any sort of like real pain
during the stretch and sweep?
During the stretch and sweep or when she even checked you were dilated, because I feel like I know what you look like when you're in pain, but I felt like if I could rank the pain level from 10 based on like your facial expression, it looked like it was like a 5, maybe no more than 6. Like you look like you were all right. Like it looked like it hurt, but like nothing that you couldn't handle.
Yeah. I would say you're right about that. It was painful, but it was like I could definitely handle it.
So going into or fast forwarding to the trying to induce my girlfriend into labor. So after we had did all that, right, and then we had planned. So it's funny. So we did all the trying to induce into labor stuff, right, and then the next day we were planning to film the baby mama dance, and as we were kind of like planning it out, talking about it, like that's when her contractions started to really like pick up, I feel like. And then I was like, oh.
Well, technically, we were supposed to do the baby mama dance the same day we did I did the stretch and sweep.
Yeah.
But as soon as I finished the stretch and sweep, we went to Fortino's, the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I was already feeling contractions. I was in pain. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't feel
And
right.
I was like, yo, should we film it? And she was like, normally she'll be like, yeah, let's film it. But this time she was like, nah, like I don't think I can film. So I'm like thinking, I was like, yo, should I like pick it up the camera and just film and record something for YouTube? Or she was like, nah, babe, like I don't think we should we could record today because like this is feeling like.
Yeah, I was like,
and I was like, oh shit. And you know the thing is too is like you know at this point she was like I want to say like 40 or maybe like 40 weeks pregnant and like.
I was 40 weeks in like a couple days.
And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, yo.
I was 40 weeks and 5 days. I gave birth at 40 weeks and 6 days.
And you know what the problem is too? Like you get so comfortable, well from my perspective, you get comfortable knowing that the baby's in her. Like you don't, and then after you go past that 40 weeks, you're like, okay, like you kind of forget that the baby's actually supposed to come at any moment. Because you know what the thing is? I'm thinking that, okay, she's past 40 weeks already. What's going to end up happening is she's going to go to 41.
And they're going to induce
And they're going to induce to her.
So that was already planned.
And I was like, okay. In my head now, I'd kind of like detached myself from the idea that her water was gonna break. Like I just didn't think it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And mind you, it didn't happen. But it was just crazy because after we did all that stuff, we were planning to do the baby mama dance, and then right that next day, like everything just started happening.
Yeah. So pretty much now getting into the actual labor part. I was like 4:30 in the morning. Mind you, I was feeling little contractions and cramps throughout the day after the stretch and sweep. 4:30 in the morning, it like hit me. I was like, ooh, that is a contraction. That was not just a Braxton Hicks. That was just not a cramp. That was both together.
Was it hard for you to tell a cramp from a Braxton Hicks to a contraction? Was it hard for you to know?
I wanted to say almost, but not really. Like, they're all the same thing. Like, okay, so a Braxton Hicks is the tightening of the stomach, right? The cramps is like period cramps, or you get it in your back. But a contraction is when they happen at the exact same time.
Oh, so and another thing I want you guys to know as well. So whenever whenever the Braxton Hicks or the contraction would happen, I think that we're seeing the baby's bum, because I know that he was positioned down.
Yeah.
So I thought I was looking at my son's bum. Like I thought he was like pushing himself against her, like the wall of her stomach. But apparently that was just her.
Uterus.
That was her uterus. So I was like, okay, like, I really wasn't touching my son, but there were times where he did stick his foot out. I have pictures that I could like post on the screen, but there were times where I did see his foot, but that was like very rare. Now that I come to think of it, it was very rare.
Yeah, I'm about to get there. So then by 9 o'clock in the morning, I got to 4 minutes per contraction.
So this is the part in the labor and delivery video, I think,
where I was calling the midwife.
So actually, I'll tell you. So she was at 4 minutes. So usually, for the people that don't know, when your contractions are about 3 to 4 minutes, that's when like you're in pre-labor.
No, that's when you're in active labor.
Oh, active labor. Sorry.
Before that, it's pre-labor.
So she was at 3 to 4 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then she took a shower. So that's why I didn't start the video when she was at 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
The beginning of the video, you see her in a towel. Because she just showered.
Yeah, and I showered because I'm like, okay, it's 4 minutes. I have to wait 4 minutes. It has to be 4 minutes for a full hour, and then I go to the hospital. So I'm like, let me get my shower in. Let me get everything done before we get to the hospital.
So that's crazy. So she took a shower, right? And mind you, she was having contractions every 3 to 4 minutes. So for those who know, like that's like intense, and that's like, now it's time to call, make your calls. It's time, right? So she went and she took a shower. After she came out of the shower, in the next scene where you could see her going through her contractions, it was happening every like
13 minutes.
Every 13 minutes.
Jumped back up.
So I think what happened was, because mind you, we went to the hospital when she was 6 centimeters dilated. So I think that you were dilating, but after you took the shower, it calmed it down a bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I was still actually dilating. It just wasn't as consistent as every 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So my midwife was pretty much like, okay, you know what, just wait, like it's
They told us we weren't supposed to go in until the next day.
Technically to get induced.
Yeah.
But at that point she's like, okay, you're fine. Like if it's not 4 minutes, just thug it out. Like, take a Tylenol if you want to take a Tylenol and whatever. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I didn't like taking Tylenol.
Yeah, she did the whole pregnancy. She took a lot of pride in not taking anything, which I really respect. That's like some real tough shit right there. Because
I'm like, why can I can't take medication, right? They told me from the beginning I could take Tylenol.
And why didn't you take medication? What was like the whole reason about? Because they did say at the end that you could, but what was your whole reason for not wanting to?
I have bad periods.
Sorry, he's like semi-waking himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get through this video, kind of not fast, but you know, I always had bad periods, right? And having bad periods means like 1 to 3 days of really terrible pain, and I didn't like the fact that I had to rely on Tylenol and Advil.
Okay.
Or naproxen because I had to get prescribed really strong medication sometimes.
This is for her period.
For my period. So I would only take my medications on my period when it was really, really excruciating and I really couldn't handle it anymore, because everyone knows painkillers are not good for you. So imagine me pumping 4 painkillers a day on my period, for 3 days in a row every single month. Like, I don't think that could be good for your body.
So I swear. So I thought you didn't take it because you didn't want to affect the baby at all.
So I'm someone that doesn't take Tylenol and Advil like that because of my bad periods. So for me, I said, if it can affect me to this extent and I try not to take it, why am I gonna do that while with my baby?
Pregnant,
you know what I mean? Like, I'll rather just try to keep my baby from it. They already tell us not to take any other medication, but yet they only give us a blind for Tylenol.
Yeah, I thought.
For me, it was kind of like, why can't I take anything else? But you guys want me to Tylenol, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking anything.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty much like your reason. So after after the contraction started, so actually the camera, I didn't film, but I think on the way to the hospital, that's when your contractions really started picking up. They really started picking up, and I think I didn't.
So wait, before we even get there, so at that point I was like, I called back my midwife a few minutes after, like 2 hours after.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, listen, I can't handle this anymore. Like, the pain is excruciating.
Yes, because they were trying to say like,
you have to wait till you get to 4 minutes.
Exactly. But you couldn't take it at that point.
No, I was like, this is excruciating. I'm in a lot of pain. Like, what can we do? And they pretty much were like, hey, let's come down to the hospital.
7:30.
Yeah, around 7:30. We'll give you pain medication for the pain, and we'll also check
if we can induce you.
Yeah, we're like, we'll see how dilated you are. Maybe you are dilating, and you can get induced today.
Yeah. So fast forward to actually getting there now. Now we're at the hospital, and this is the part where like everything hit me.
Yeah.
So now they were checking, and I couldn't even record that part because like it was such a really like.
Yeah.
It was quick. We were in the room for maybe like 10-15 minutes, and like. To be in a room in a hospital while dealing with pregnancy for 10-15 minutes is considered fast. Like everything happened really quickly. So they did the check or whatever. And mind you, this is like from my perspective. Like, I don't know anything of like what's going on. Like, I don't understand like dilated. I've never had a child before, so I don't understand any of these terminologies. So they're like, oh wow, you're about like 6 centimeters dilated.
And right then I was like,
so she knew.
What?
So she knew it. So I was like. After she was done, I was like, so like, does that mean that he could possibly, because pretty much up until that point, after she said she was 6 centimeters dilated, they pretty much said like, tomorrow. They were pushing for like the tomorrow.
To start inducing me.
Yeah,
by that.
I didn't. So my head at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go home and then possibly, because mind you, I had to take off work 3 separate times because they pushed back the inducing so many times, right? So now when they said she's 6 centimeters dilated, and then like Nikkida's expression was like, oh shit, like that. So I went off her vibe. I was like, so does that mean that like he could possibly come like today? That's when she's like, yo, you're not leaving here without your baby. And I was like, no way. That's why I'm prepared, because we did pack the car with all the stuff.
And I told you, I'm like, grab everything. Cause he honestly, I'm not gonna get at you, but he was moving hella nonchalant. Yeah,
because I
literally thought that because they said I'm getting induced on the Friday.
Yeah.
He thought Friday I'm getting induced, Saturday I'm giving birth. One of those two. He was like locked in his mind.
Yeah, because you know what? I just was so in my head. I did not see her water to break.
Yeah, I'm like, get the car seat, and he's like, whoa, what are we getting everything?
The water breaking was like a perfect scenario, and I just didn't see it to be that way.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up breaking. But that's why I was like, but you know what? I think what it would have broke if you had sat on the toilet.
wouldn't.
If you sat in the toilet and let the contract, but you know what though, obviously your first child, you don't know that, but
Yeah.
next time I feel like if you were to sit in the toilet, he would be able to come lower enough with the power. But it's just crazy. So like, you know, I don't know, that shit was crazy to me.
To like 7, right? Because mind you, I got to the hospital already at 6, right?
Which is crazy
Which
if you
is
don't
crazy.
know.
So when I was at 6 and I got to 7, in my head I'm just like,
Which is crazy.
yeah, I'm like, I only got 3 more centimeters to go, and realistically, you can start pushing at 9. So I only have 2 more centimeters to go. Like I can do this. I don't need the epidural. So I pretty much went to my midwife and I was like, when do people usually get the epidural? She's like, oh girl, they would have gotten it from 4 or 5 centimeters.
Which is crazy because you muscled out up until that point. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even think about an epidural.
I was home during that.
That's
part.
what I'm saying. So like.
Somebody asked if that was my doula. No, that was actually my mom, the other black lady that was there. I don't know if you got. Did you get the footage of her? Was she in the bed with me in the video?
Yeah, that's in the first scene. Like
Yeah.
the first when you actually first click and you see her mom holding her. That's her mom.
That's my mom. Because people were like, "Is that your doula?" No, it was my mom. My mom's the OG. My mom's the best. Like, so what happened was, after we got to, I got to 8 centimeters, 9 centimeters. My water wasn't breaking. It wasn't getting any further. I wasn't dilating. I wasn't going down any further.
Yes, and she was at this point she's done. She's like, yo.
I'm exhausted. I'm freaked out. I'm like.
And she just wants the baby out.
Yeah, and they kept asking me, "Do you want us to just break your water?" I'm like, "Let's just wait a little longer."
No, you know what she said? She's like, yo, this pain I cannot bear. I don't want you to break my water because I don't know if I can bear that.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was because I was so terrified. They told me that I was gonna get more pressure, and I'm like, I can't handle any
And
more
yo,
pressure
at this
than
point, I just feel horrible. I'm like, yo, what did I do to this poor woman? What did I like? I'm like, yo, no, TMI. I'm like, yo, my body is so powerful. Like, I'm like, look what I did to this poor woman. Look at the pain she's in because of my poor choice. Not to say poor choice, but
it's a great choice now. But back then we were like,
you know what I'm saying? So at this point, she was like in too much pain. And I felt horrible because she was like, yo, no, like I don't want you to break my water.
I didn't want my water to break because I honestly was too scared for the pain that I was gonna feel.
And then
when it kept on going, and I'm like, yo, the pain, I have to. I'm gonna end in my brain. I'm like, I'm gonna end up having to feel that pain anyways. I was like, you know what? F it. Break my water.
So we broke the water.
We broke the water.
And it like I never experienced. Like I said, this is crazy for me because I knew because when she broke it, her water literally broke.
And like the thing was, they were trying to break it a certain way, and it wasn't happening. I'm like, can you just use the hook? Remember
yeah, they have like the special doctor hook that they would put in.
Yeah, they were trying to do it like through a contraction. They were trying to just
some
gently
shit.
do
But
it.
shit was.
I'm like, listen, I
that
can't.
shit.
I said, you have the hook. She's like, yeah, we can use the hook. I said, use the hook.
And mind you,
okay.
she gets almost out of she's out of it at this point. And then I'll tell you. So like this is gonna be a long video, so I'm gonna tell you. So. At this point, she looks like she's out of it. In my perspective, she looks like she's. I'm looking at my girlfriend like I'm telling you this.
It was the drug. It was the laughing gas too. Because listen, guys, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've never smoked weed before, like ever in my life. So I feel like I'm very sensitive to those things.
Yeah.
So laughing gas to me was like super high. Like I felt high off of it.
And I tried it. It didn't work for me. But here, I'm gonna tell you though. So when she is now like the water has broken and we're preparing for the push, I'm not lying. I can feel what I felt in that moment right now. I'm nervous as hell. Why? Because my girlfriend looks like she does not have the energy to push, and I'm nervous. In that moment, I'm so nervous because I'm like, yo. I'm not lying. I had so much doubt. I just don't know
what's gonna happen.
I just couldn't handle any bad news, and I'm like, yo, you literally look like you don't have energy.
Yeah, but because what happened was before that even push part, I had to go on the toilet. That's what part you guys all see when I was on the toilet, and on the toilet.
Because she was in negative stage.
Yeah.
Negative
Sorry,
1.
Zavier jumped the gun again. So before the pushing, so yeah, I had to go on the toilet, and when I was on the toilet, I was at -1. So I had to get to -3, 2, 1. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is when the baby's like head is out.
So that's what they told her.
I was at -1.
They said, yo, her water was broken at the time. They said, yo, go sit down on the toilet.
Because you're still at -1.
You're still at -1.
And I was like, what?
So that's the part when she was like, like when she was doing that, no cap. That's when she went from
what did I do?
She was making that weird noise, and it sounded like she was taking a big poop. That's what it sounded like. But Yo, I don't want to ramble and make this video too long.
Yeah.
Pretty much what? Go ahead.
So I was on the toilet. At that point, I'm getting contractions. I had 3 contractions. I think it was 3 contractions on that toilet. The third contraction, I was like, oh, I feel like this is different. This feels like I gotta push. It doesn't feel like I'm just having a contraction anymore.
So weird.
It feels like I have to push a baby out. Like I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't anymore. So I'm like, hey guys, I think I need to get like, I didn't say it like that, but I'm saying like, I think I need to push now.
I need to push.
Yeah.
That's what she said. And then this is the part where the doctor ran over.
Not yet. So she said, I think I need to push. And I'm like, they're like, okay.
And I'm thinking in my head, don't fucking push. You're on the toilet. Yo, you're not gonna push my son out into a toilet. Because I'm thinking one push and he's gonna come out.
And then I was like, okay, let me get up. And then when I went to get up, I had another contraction. That 4th contraction.
That's in the part of the video when you saw her trying to get up, but she got sat back down.
Yes. That 4th contraction, ring of fire. Ring of fire.
Yes, somebody did tell me about this prior to that happening.
So when I felt the ring of fire, I said, that means baby's head is literally coming out of me. And I started screaming, it's burning. At that point, they ran over because I couldn't say it's the ring of fire. I couldn't say, I'm getting the ring of fire, guys. This baby's head's coming out. I just had to say it's burning. That was the only words that could come out of my mouth.
I can feel it.
So the midwife said she ran down. She looked down. It was the middle student that you actually that came in that point. She looked down and she said she saw hair, and she was like, "Come." She's trying to be calm with me, but then I see her over there throwing the blankets, throwing the plastic bags on the bed.
Is weaked out right now.
Listen, she's screaming to my actual midwife. She's screaming her name. Come, let's go. It's time. And I'm like, oh my.
And yo, at this point, I'm like, oh shit, like this is it. This is what like you feel like you're in like an NBA finals. It's the 4th quarter. Yeah. There's 3 minutes left. I was like, holy shit, this is too much for me.
And then my mom and Xavier tried to pick me up, right?
And that's when you saw her walking.
And I'm walking,
I blurred it, but
because I feel the head is right there. Like the head is there, and I'm like, I can't walk. What are you guys telling me to walk? I can't. There is a head in between my leg, but I had to just take it as a champ and like open my legs and just try to walk like a crab. So then when I got to the bed, I was like, they're trying to tell me to like, lay down so I can give birth, like laying down. To do that, I have to close my legs. I can't close my legs. So I just said, I need to push on my hands and knees, which you guys can see in the video, like on my knees.
She was holding on like this.
And I was holding on like this. So I'm like, let me get like this because I can't turn and close my legs. But then it wasn't working. So I ended up having to turn, which was so painful because the baby's head was like right there. I felt like I was squishing the baby's head in between my coochie while I'm trying to turn around. But I'm like, I have to turn around. Like I have to do it. So I turned, and then that's when they're like,
so this is when it got serious. So then we're gonna close out the video after this part because that's pretty much it. And I don't want this to be like an hour-long video, but at that point, now she turns over, right? And now the real life pushing is about to happen. The shit you've seen in movies, it's happening now. So she's pushing, and like the first like 2-3 pushes,
I had it.
She was locked in.
I was locked in. I was like,
but I didn't see nothing though. I didn't see nothing.
No, nothing was coming out yet.
But I'm not lying to you. Like this looks like she was like about to die. Like this, like how I interpreted it was this girl's giving her last breath. Like she's like pushing everything out of her, right? So
then they told me to reach down, and they're like, look.
No. So that didn't even happen yet.
Okay,
so now she's pushing, she's screaming, she's pushing, and.
My memory is not as good as his memory.
Yeah, so she's pushing and she's pushing. I think she did like 4 or 5 big pushes, and I'm thinking this girl looks like her battery is on 0. She needs to charge. I don't know how else she's gonna
Keep in mind, guys, I was up from 4:30 the morning before.
Yo, I'm telling you.
It is now 1 a.m. in the next day, so it's almost 20. It was 21 hours.
I'm telling you.
Of pain, of laboring, of. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm telling you.
No sleep.
I looked into her, I looked at her.
Plus I threw up and I couldn't eat on top of all that.
Her mouth was dry, and she gave me all the signs that that she was like. And then I knew how bad she didn't want to get a C-section. So whatever. So she ends up pushing out. Now we see the head, and I'm like, holy, I'm fucked up now. Now I literally can't believe this.
Am I screaming at this point?
Like kinda, like yo, her vagina. Like I have it in my head, bro. And at this point, I'm like, yo.
When did they tell me to touch?
Like TMI, like I said, yo, I could never put my face on there ever again. at this point, I'm like, yo,
we're blocking that out of the video. We have family watching this.
Yo, listen.
No.
Okay, maybe they might not watch the whole video, but whatever.
Gosh.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep that to myself. But at this point, I see the little head come out, and I'm devastated at this point. This point, I'm like, I'm seeing some shit that not every man gets to see.
Mm-hmm.
And
at that point is when they told me to touch the baby's head.
And they said, yo, because she was done. She pretty much, at this point, I felt like she had gave up. And they said, reach down, touch his head. So she reached over, she touched his head.
I feel the tiniest little moist, wet head with hair.
And you know what? So I'm going to tell you this.
And I just had to hold a lock in, and I just started pushing.
Listen, I was so scared because I didn't want my baby to have an alien-shaped head. And yo,
the cone head is what he's talking about.
The head was this skinny, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking pissed now because I'm like, yo, fuck, fam. She keeps stopping when this guy's head is almost out, fam. And I don't want to express that to her, but yo, his head is scrawny, fam. And I'm like, yo, you have to push through that, fam. I'm about to cry, fam. I'm upset now, but I can't say that to her.
That's my baby. The baby's sleeping.
Yo, I'm cheesed, fam, because the baby's head skinny, fam. I'm like, yo, you keep stopping when he's in the middle, but obviously you can't. I'm like, yo, come on.
At this point, you guys are both holding my mom.
And I'm holding up her leg, you know.
And you guys are like pushing me, like trying to like push the baby.
And I'm like, yo, come, like push, you know. Whatever. She ends up pushing out the head. Like, yo, I'm not lying to you. When I saw the head come out, before I even continue this for any further into the story, if you guys made it to this part of the video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, yo, for more content. But if you guys made it to this part of the video, you're a real one. Just want to let you guys know that.
So if you're a real one, you might as well just follow the real ones and just subscribe right now.
On God. So this point, and we're about to close the video out because it's a long video, but so pretty much at this point, what ends up happening is the head's out now, right? And mind you, she literally said to me, this is when I felt the tears coming, and I was so broken. So the tears, and I was fighting my tears because I didn't want to be emotional during the time she was pushing, but she was like, she pulled me in. She was like, babe, I can't. Like the way she said it, like she sounded defeated. She sounded like she had no more fight left in her, and she was like,
make me emotional.
She was like, yo. She was like, babe, I can't. Like, babe, I can't do it no more.
It's hard.
And I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love at this point, I love my child. I never met my son, but I love him. But I love my girl more, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would have said like just cancel everything. Like she can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a fucking like school project. You can't just say that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like the baby's head's out. So I turn my head, and at this point I'm crying now. I just whisper. I said, baby, just lock in. You got this. Like, come on, lock in. I'm crying now, but I'm not trying to like make her see. And then at that point, she ends up.
I try pushing. I'm
pushing one more time,
and it's not coming out.
And yo, I'm not.
We're at his neck at this point.
And yo, I started to bawl inside. Internally, I started to bawl when she screamed, "It ripped!" Or she get teared. I was crushed.
My neck, and I was like, it was like it's tearing.
I'm not lying. Even it hurts me to even go back to that point. But I was crushed because like, oh my God, like what? Like look what I put you through is what I'm saying.
By the way, guys, I teared both ways. So I teared forward and backward.
And at this point, I'm crying now, and I'm trying my hardest to like, not like let nobody see me crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now what ends up happening is. The midwife ends up putting her hand inside.
So pretty much baby went purple at that point because it's just been on his neck, and I'm not pushing. I'm not able to get anything else out, right? Are you checking the camera?
Yeah. It's like this will be like a 40-minute video.
I'm pushing, right? And the what was I just saying? Yeah. So the baby's turning purple. So my mom, Zavier stops looking at that point. My mom's like, Nikkida, I kept watching. My mom is like, oh,
she's locked in.
She's locked in. She's like, I'm not missing this. Is my first time watching a birth. I'm watching everything. I'm not missing it. So she pretty much said that the midwife waited for me to get a contraction, and my midwife also said, yes, this is what happened. The student was trying to give birth, trying to get the baby out, but she couldn't feel for the shoulder. She was trying to help me because I was done. Like I couldn't push anymore. So my mom said that the midwife waited for a contraction to hit me, stuck her whole hand inside me, grazing the side of the baby's head, grabbed the baby's shoulder, and popped the baby out.
I turned my head long before that because I couldn't bear it.
I just felt splat. blood splattered on my
And
face.
let me tell you, the amount of blood. If you're not into blood, you better not be in the room.
I feel like I wish I could show you guys the footage. My mom actually recorded and showed how much.
We would get banned or something. Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
There was blood on the walls. My mom said there was blood all over her clothes.
I literally never seen that much blood ever in my life. But look.
So then at that point, baby came out. Baby was purple. Baby wasn't breathing. So it was like a minute, like 2 minutes. I felt like it felt forever. Baby was not breathing. I can see that my midwife is getting worried, and she's like, yeah, this color is not good. But she's trying not to make me freak out. She's like, come on, baby, come on. She's like trying to wake him up. She's trying to wake him up. He's not crying. He's not making noise.
And then she's like praying.
Oh my gosh. I just started praying.
I'm bawling at this point.
I'm like, God, please, please just let him breathe there, God. Like, I'm just praying.
She's praying, and I'm in the corner bawling.
Just praying. Like, imagine, I just pushed out a human. Like, I'm bleeding everywhere, and I'm just praying my head off, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we hear...
Yeah, we heard a little cry.
And I was like, oh. They put the baby on me, and I was just like, I didn't care about anything else. The only thing I cared about was baby was fine, and then Zavier was fine. Yeah. They stitched me up. I got 7 stitches in total between the two. They said I had a 1st-degree tear, so it wasn't that bad. But I did end up getting 7 stitches. At that point, Zavier was bawling his eyes out. I will see if we can put a little clip of that part in it.
Probably not.
We will. We put a little clip in. And, it was just like, he is waking up, so we have to wrap this up. It was just...
It was a lot.
It was a lot. And then that was it. Like, baby came out at 1:10.
And I think that's when we kind of moved into the other room. And they did all their checks. But like I said, I don't want you guys to watch for an hour.
No. Baby came out 1:10 a.m., 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Healthy baby boy.
June 28th.
Yes.
He's waking up. So obviously this brings us to the end of the video. We're going to do our best to obviously balance the, being parents and YouTube. But look, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. The videos will be coming out hot, spicy, ready to go. That's it from me.
And that's it from me.
Peace. And that's it from him as well.
And that's it from him. He's done.